You know what my favorite scene in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is? The wedding scenes.
Hipster Sonic! Hipster Sonic!
But actually, I do. I actually like the wedding scene. Hey, it's Andre, and it is time to talk more about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I already did a non-spoiler review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so check that video out if you haven't seen it. Now, I'm going to give you all the spoilers, all the recaps. This is a spoiler alert, so if you have not seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you might want to pause this video or maybe mute it and then play it in the background, not looking at it, and then you can give me a view still and then come back and watch it later after you actually see the movie. Then you give me 2 views, just saying. But yeah, this is gonna have all the spoilers in it. That's probably already all over the internet anyway, so I don't even know why I make a big deal about this. I'm also putting an actually alert. There are a lot of references in this movie to Sonic stuff. I'm gonna talk about as many of them as I recall, but I'm pretty sure there are more that are in the movie than what I actually say in this video. So if I miss one, feel free to drop it in the comments. Feel free to contribute if I missed something. So we reunite with Robotnik on the Mushroom Planet. He is trying to stay alive, drinking mushrooms. He uses Sonic's blue quill to send communication out to see if anyone can find him and get him back to Earth so he can have revenge on that hedgehog. He sees some warriors. He takes them out one by one using his smarts, but he gets stopped by one guy. That guy, Knuckles. Knuckles is looking for Sonic, so that's why he comes to Robotnik. And Robotnik's like, oh, you don't like Sonic? I don't like Sonic either. I know where he is. Let me show you the way. So we cut to Seattle, where we basically get like the opening scene of Sonic Adventure. We get Sonic in Seattle. He's stopping a robbery, but throughout the process, he is messing everything up. It gave me very strong Darkwing Duck vibes for some reason, from the way that Sonic was trying to stop the crime, was not doing a good job at it, but yet still wanted gratitude for it. And also the way he was naming himself through it. He's even sitting on top of a building at one point going, "You're welcome, citizens," as everything is all messed up. Be like, "I saved the day, you're welcome. I am the terror that flaps in the night." Of course, Tom finds out and he has a little talk with Sonic on a boat. Tom is trying to teach him a lesson about it's not how cool your skills are, but how you use those skills to protect others, and that you can't make a moment of being a hero. That moment comes to you. And Sonic's like, "Get off my case, man. You're not my dad." And Tom's like, "You live in my house, eat my food, and not paying rent. You better call me dad and shut up." And then at one point, Sonic falls out the boat, and we realize that Sonic cannot swim. And then Tom and Maddie are like, "Hey Sonic, you want to take over the movie? We going to Hawaii." I love this movie. It's just like, let's just go on vacation. So Maddie's sister Rachel from the first movie is getting married to a guy that was not in the first movie. So Tom and Maddie are going off to the wedding in Hawaii, and they're leaving Sonic at home by himself. Kind of funny that they just said, "Hey Sonic, you're not being responsible," in the last scene, and then the next scene they're like, "All right, we're gonna leave you by yourself. You and the dog. Take care of yourselves. You'll be all right." But we head off to Hawaii with Tom and Maddie, meeting up with Rachel, and Rachel's soon-to-be husband, Randall, played by Shamar Moore. Rachel does not like Tom. She's trying to be all nice to him, but she's like, "You mess up my wedding, I will end you." And then she sets up Randall to scare him at first. The first time he meets him, he's like, "You got a lot of nerve coming to my wedding after what you did to my fiance in the last movie when you tied her up and took a car." And he's like, "I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm just messing with you, Tom." She put me up to it. But she don't like you. So of course, while Tom and Maddie are away, Sonic will play. He turns a whole house into his own house party, Home Alone style, Risky Business style. Now, I will admit, as much as I like this movie, this is probably the most Chipmunks part of the movie. Like the stuff that we're used to seeing in these live action CGI movies, this part is very much that. You got your 90s hip hop songs. Here come the hot stepper, word 'em up, this is how we do it. You got a hair changing montage. You have snack product placement. You have a random foam bubble party for one. Well, I guess 2 if you count the dog. This is where I got a little nervous, because it was very much, hey, Sonic's doing wacky stuff, but it's not video game wacky stuff. Although I did appreciate them throwing in a Parks and Rec reference by having Sonic go, "The worst." But as soon as I got concerned about this, the movie was like, "We got you. Here's Robotnik." So Robotnik shows up at Sonic's house, ready to get his revenge. Sonic talking that smack as usual, and Sonic jumps up to try to hit Robotnik, and Robotnik just goes, "Excuse me," and right behind him is Knuckles. Bam! Knuckles knocks Sonic out, and then Sonic tries to get up again, and Knuckles is like, "No!" And Sonic's like, "I'm gonna use my power," and Knuckles is like, "Do you think I need your power?" And then Sonic tries one more time. He does a little spin move. And Knuckles is just like, "Nah, bruh, I don't think that's gonna work today. I'm just gonna hold you right here." All right, wham! I mean, it's sad. Poor Sonic, but god dang, man. Idris Elba is awesome as Knuckles. Ben Schwartz is awesome as Sonic. This is one of the best intros you could have for a character in a movie like this. Like, Knuckles just showed right off the bat how strong he is, just beating the crap out of Sonic. Not to mention, he just looks so good. Like, Knuckles looks so good in this movie. They nailed it. First time. No need to do a redo on this one. Same with Tails, who shows up, steals a car, hits Knuckles with the car, and drives off. And of course, Robotnik is there, mugging and ad-libbing the entire time. Zook, 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 zook. Tails drives a car off of a cliff that Knuckles was on top of, but then Tails saves Sonic by spinning those two tails together, but then Knuckles saves himself by jumping onto a rock and climbing up the rock, just like they do in the games. By the way, nice reference on that water truck there, Splash Hills, as in Splash Hills Zone from Sonic 4. During this whole fight, Knuckles reveals why he's going after Sonic. So he's part of the Echidna tribe. They've been having war with the Owl tribe for so long, including Longclaw, who took care of Sonic. And the reason why they've been fighting is because they are trying to control the Master Emerald. We also get some of this backstory through a Longclaw hologram. She force ghosts out of Sonic's map. Basically, the Echidna tribe had the 7 Chaos Emeralds. They brought them all together to make the Master Emerald. One of the Echidna warriors had control of that Master Emerald, had great power. The Owls were like, nah, that's not cool. So there's been this whole battle ever since to protect the Master Emerald so that no one individual has that much power. The Owls, including Longclaw, hid the Master Emerald on Earth, and the Echidna tribe's been trying to look for it forever. That's why they attacked Longclaw and Baby Sonic in the first movie, and that's why Longclaw sent Sonic to live on Earth, because she knew that one day he would grow up and be able to protect that Master Emerald. Hey man, they had to weave the two movies together somehow. This is what they did. But it's just funny to me because at this point, I feel like people who just know Sonic from that first road trip movie is probably like, what is going on? I'm confused. Jim Carrey, return and do a joke, please. I don't know what's going on. Robotnik is also learning about this Master Emerald while he's mugging and ad-libbing and flossing. Flossing is the way! So of course Robotnik's all like, hey Knuckles, you want that Master Emerald back? I'll help you. We're friends now. So Robotnik calls like this big egg from the sky, and that's where he gets all his robots and stuff, including some robots that look like the Buzz Bombers from the video games. Good job. He also gets his little pod that he jumps in and flies around in, like from the video game. Good job. And then he teams back up with Agent Stone, not from the video game, but he's from the first movie, and he's awesome, so good job. Agent Stone is working at a coffee shop, lovely named The Mean Bean, which is a wonderful reference to not only Agent Stone making coffee in the first movie with the Austrian goat milk, I love the way you make them, but it's also a reference to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which was a video game that was on the Genesis. That was nice. I also love the scene of Agent Stone making the coffee art of Robotnik because he misses him so much. And then people just mess it up like, dude, just give me my coffee. I also like that later in the movie, Agent Stone is trying to figure out a new outfit for Dr. Robotnik. So he's scrolling through a bunch of images, and one of the images looks like Jim Carrey's head on the video game Robotnik's body, very similar to how Dr. Eggman looks in the games. Stone immediately don't like Knuckles. He's like, who's this other man with you? But Knuckles grabbed that hand and was like, you don't like me now. The Mean Bean turns out to be a secret base for Robotnik to be able to track Sonic. I also love that he had like a little digital version of Sonic that he used as his locator. The digital Sonic had like dark red eyes, so I guess that was a reference to Sonic.exe. Google search at your discretion. And Knuckles has some top form lines in here. I especially love when they're trying to read Sonic's text messages, and it just has the little ... and Knuckles is just going ... It's a dumb joke, but it made me laugh really hard. But when Robotnik is ready to follow Sonic, he leaves Stone behind, and Knuckles was like, you gonna just leave your partner behind? And he's like, look, there's no room for him in the pod. We're going. And Knuckles was like, that's dishonor. And Robotnik's like, this is how I roll. And that's when Knuckles gets that first indication of, I don't know what the deal is with this Robotnik. So Sonic and Tails are going off on this adventure to find this Master Emerald, as well as learning about each other. We find out how Tails even found out about Sonic. Tails is on his home planet, feeling kind of sad because everyone refers to him as a freak because of his two tails. He felt alone, he felt weird until he was able to find Sonic when Sonic did that whole run around in the first movie on the baseball field and caused that big energy blast. That was strong enough for Tails to find out about it through his technology. He thought that Sonic was weird too, being a blue hedgehog that runs fast and yet being a hero. So Tails looks up to him. He's basically a Sonic fanboy and he's like, well, if Sonic can be a hero even though he's different, I know I can be too. Colleen O'Shaughnessy is bringing the same Tails energy in this that she does in the video games. They work together to go to Siberia where they're going to try to find a compass that's supposed to lead them to the Master Emerald. They end up having to stop at this bar and dancing happens. It's like a whole Siberian custom thing where they have to fight, but it's a dance fight. There's also like 3 poop or fart jokes at some point too, I forget. So the Siberian guys are dancing with their music and they're going off, man. They're going hardcore. And Sonic's like, I can't deal with this. And Tails is like, I can't do this. I don't know how to be a hero. And Sonic's like, yo, we got this. We just gotta change the music. So Sonic changes the music to dope. Do 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 do. This here that white gold Michelle fight for the Uptown Monk don't give it to you. I cracked up the moment that song started playing. I was like, oh my God, we're Uptown Monkin'. We're Alvin the Chipmunks the Road Chip again. Why do I keep watching live action movies with CGI characters using Bruno Mars music? Is this a whole category now? Please, I asked the internet when this movie comes out on digital, can someone do a mega cut of this scene from Sonic 2 and the Uptown Monk scene from Alvin the Chipmunks the Road Chip? Those need to come together. Yes, Sonic and Tails dance to Uptown Funk. Here we go. And I was about to write this whole scene off. I was like, man, I can't deal with this. I don't know what's going on with this movie. But I don't know why when Tails uses his technology to basically create a bunch of clone Tails to be backup dancers. And so Sonic is dancing with a bunch of Tails backup dancers like they freaking Fly Girls from In Living Color behind them. And then he makes a bunch of clone Sonics and they just start floating in the air. Sonic and Tails holding hands, just a bunch of them floating in the air. I think if I was high, this is probably what I would see. Sonic even does the Sonic Adventure pose during the dance. He like jumps up and does like the whole Sonic Adventure game cover pose. I was like, it's good, it's good. For some reason, at that point, I was sold. I was not about this dance scene until I saw multiple Sonics and Tails floating around. And then I was like, you know what? They're so good that they literally knocked the other dancer out. He's literally like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Bam. It's so silly. I feel like I'm watching a live action Sonic cartoon. The more I think about it, it has the vibe of like a live action version of the Sonic cartoons. Not necessarily picking from any specific cartoon, just has the same energy as those cartoons seem to have.
Studios should stop recycling the same tired old properties and make something original for once.
Sonic and Tails bond even more. They have this really cute moment where there's only one blanket left, so Sonic gives the blanket to Tails to keep him warm, but then two Tails cover Sonic to keep Sonic warm. I was like, aww. So Sonic and Tails find this cave, and it has a giant statue, and they have to solve a puzzle to get an item to help them get to the next part of this globe-trotting adventure. Uncharted is right next door. Nathan Drake is looking at the movie like, excuse me? Do you mind? But of course, Robotnik and Knuckles track Sonic down and we get a whole ice cap zone sequence, like the whole snowboarding sequence. A lot of fun. Sonic going but gets a bunch of robots. I especially love the part when he has a bunch of them surrounding him, but then of course, Sonic does that nice little slow-mo jump, just starts jumping all between their lasers, and then he lands on one and just starts going pew, 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 zapping them all. Just really cool sequences there. Again, obviously using the games as inspiration to make scenes like this. Very awesome. They did the research. Also, of course, love that Sonic destroys one of the robots, takes a part of it, starts sliding down. Very similar to how in Sonic Adventure 2 when he takes a part of the plane and drops and starts sliding down. Follow me. Set me free. Yeah, the whole snow sequence, I was just digging that. Not only does it feel like it came from the video games, which technically it kind of did, it just has a lot of energy to it, a lot of action to it. It's just a good action centerpiece. Knuckles, of course, is up in this scene too, or as Sonic calls him, Winter Soldier. They have like a snowboarding fight, like they keep punching each other and knocking into each other while they're snowboarding. Sonic tries to talk that stuff, but Knuckles at one point just knocks like a whole hill out, knocks Sonic out so hard that Sonic knocks all his rings down. He's all like, oh, my rings! That? And this is when Knuckles gives a little bit more backstory of why he's so angry at Sonic, because when the Echidna tribe attacked Longclaw when Sonic was a little baby, one of those Echidna warriors was Knuckles' dad. I'm gonna go do this, I'll be back. Of course, he never came back. So now Sonic and Knuckles are kind of having a little bit of a bond because Sonic lost Longclaw that day, Knuckles lost his dad that day. They might be actually starting to see eye to eye, but unfortunately, Tails attacks Knuckles, tries to get the compass. Robotnik just straight grabs the compass and then fires at Tails. Poor Tails. Tails gets hurt, so Sonic looks after Tails and doesn't even think about grabbing the compass. And Knuckles notices this and even says to Robotnik, he's going after the fox as opposed to stopping us. And Robotnik's all like, that's because he's a loser. And Knuckles again is like, well, no. Of course, it was obvious that Knuckles was going to team up with Sonic and Tails by the end of this movie, but I thought it was really neat how they showed all the different ways that Knuckles realized how loyal Sonic was and how not so loyal Robotnik was, for Knuckles to eventually figure out that he's probably on the wrong side. And now Sonic has to get away from an avalanche. This is feeling like a Sonic adventure, a true Sonic video game inspired adventure. So let's take a break and go back to the wedding.
So help me, Thomas.
Sorry.
So Sonic gave Tom one of his rings. He's asking Tom to throw the ring out so they can land in Hawaii and be saved. But unfortunately, Tom was playing around with the rings earlier with the ring bearer, so he accidentally swapped the wedding ring and the Sonic ring. So he has to go up and stop the wedding to try to get the ring back. But Tom gets the ring, opens up the portal, and then Sonic and a hurt Tails with a bunch of snow lands in Hawaii, messing up the wedding as expected. And then things get really crazy. So apparently the entire wedding was a setup. You remember the Olive Garden gift card guy from the first movie? He was trying to figure out where Sonic was at the end, the military guy. So apparently he set this whole thing up. They're part of a new agency called Gun, as in Sonic Adventure 2, Gun. They even have helicopters that are labeled SA2, as in Sonic Adventure 2. See, that's the thing you didn't even have to do, but you did it anyway, and I appreciate it. They set up this entire elaborate Project Catfish, convincing Randall, who's an agent, to try to marry Rachel in order to hopefully get close to Sonic through the family. What is going on? I'm confused. Jim Carrey, return and do a joke, please. I don't know what's going on. It's elaborate, but it brings Gun into the picture. But this scene actually cracked me up because we find out that like everybody involved in the wedding was an agent, all the groomsmen, the caterers, even the priest. And now that Sonic was there, they were like, great, that's what we wanted. Grab Sonic, grab Tails, grab Tom because he tried to get in the way. Now it's up to Maddie and Rachel to save Sonic, Tails, and Tom. Now this is the part where I'm pretty sure some people were like, oh man, they should have cut this part from the movie. I do think this is a movie that could have been a little bit shorter, but I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed this section of the movie. This is probably my favorite scene in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that doesn't have Sonic in it. I'm just being real. That's me personally. Because I thought it was something funny about this buddy comedy thing that was going on with Tika Sumpter and Natasha Rothwell. Tails left his backpack behind, so they were actually able to use a bunch of Tails' weapons. So that was kind of fun to see them try to figure out what each of Tails' weapons does. Having a lot more Sonic in this movie is obviously great. I mean, the movie is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You want as much Sonic as possible. But given that Sonic's comedy is a lot of pop culture references and dance scenes and wacky one-liners, it was kind of nice to just have a little bit of break from that, to have comedy that was a little bit different. There's a great scene where Rachel takes like a golf cart and just drives through the wedding, drives the cart into the DJ booth, and it explodes while she's slow-mo walking. Randall even gets tased at one point, and he's all like, am I dead? She's like, nah, man, you got tased. He's like, I feel so cold. She's like, you landed on our ice sculpture. Like, it's just silly jokes like that where I was like, okay, this is a different type of comedy. They're playing it up so well. I know there's no Sonic in it at this point, but I'm enjoying myself, so it works for me. And there was a lot of people, both times I saw this movie, in the audience that was laughing at these scenes. And the fact that they were even able to incorporate Gun being a part of it to really have it connect back to the story, I thought they did a good job with it. Maybe it was because it was just Tika Sumpter and Natasha Rothwell on screen for a good amount of time. And you know, that don't hurt me. I had no problem looking at both of them for a good while. I was like, look, I like the Hedgehog, but you know, this is working for me too. Look, man, the heart wants what the heart wants. But then we get back to the plot. Robotnik and Knuckles find the temple that has the Master Emerald. Sonic goes after them. He pulls a Moana, gotta go fast, running through some water. Jim Carrey already has some great lines throughout, but he was definitely cracking me up when they were in this temple. I love when they're getting chased by the giant boulder, and he's like, I don't want to die like this. It's derivative. Because it's basically Indiana Jones. There's also one point where he almost gets sliced right in front of him, and he's like, woo, glad I didn't take my mustache. And this scene is probably the most video game-like scene. This scene is just straight up a level. Labyrinth zone is what a lot of people refer to this as. It has that style for sure. Like, it's going through, avoiding traps. Sonic slides down at the beginning of the level / temple. He's running past all these traps. You see spikes, you hear all the different sounds. I feel like I should be picking up a controller right now. Like, where's my controller? Let's play. And then this ends up with a hardcore Sonic and Knuckles fight. In the trailer, they showed Sonic and Knuckles coming together, but then right after that, they are like punching and kicking each other. Oh my God, this scene was great. Knuckles takes Sonic out a couple times, but one time Sonic gets up, he's like, you know what? I'm mad. And then he just straight up slams Knuckles into the ground multiple times. He's like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, God dang. Yeah, that whole scene, man, when they were fighting, I was like, yeah, I'm all about this. Keep it going. But just like in Sonic 3, Robotnik betrays Knuckles, takes that Master Emerald for himself, leaves them behind. The whole place crumbles apart. Knuckles gets caught under some rubble while the whole place starts to flood, so Sonic has to rescue him. He swims down, tries to rescue Knuckles. Sonic, even at one point when he's having trouble breathing, sucks a bubble up from underwater so he can keep breathing. Game reference. So Sonic, of course, rescues Knuckles, but then almost drowns himself. But Knuckles, of course, comes back and saves him. They talk, they hug it out. They're friends now. Tails even joins him. There's a plane that we see earlier at Rachel and Randall's fake wedding. So Tails grabs that plane and it basically becomes the tornado. He upgrades it with a bunch of tech and they use that to go after Robotnik, who returns to Green Hills. He turns green because if it's Jim Carrey, he has to have green. And he just starts taking metal out of everything and builds it all up together to make the Death Egg robot. This robot looks awesome on screen. These people that worked on this, can you please work on the Power Rangers movie? He powers the robot Pacific Rim style, so wherever way he moves, the robot moves. And Agent Stone even helps him out using a couple of weapons from the Death Egg robot that he learns how to use by reading an instruction manual that looks exactly like a Sega Genesis instruction manual. I just had a reference gasm. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles realize they cannot beat Robotnik alone. They're going to have to work together to stop him. There's even a point where they have their moment where they're doing Avenger style in a circle, fighting a bunch of robots before they go off together to fight the big bad. They use Sonic's annoyance to catch Robotnik off guard. Tails clones himself again so that Robotnik doesn't know which one is the real Tails, and that just gives Knuckles enough time to give a good punch to Robotnik to knock that emerald out of him and drop it on the ground. But in the process, Sonic gets hurt pretty bad. He is rough. Like, he is dirty. Sonic got beat up bad. And Sonic's like trying to crawl to the Master Emerald while Robotnik is still up in that Death Egg robot. Like, I'm about to step on you like a cockroach. But of course, Tom and Maddie drive through, grab Sonic in time. Sonic grabs the Master Emerald in time, but Robotnik's like, nah, man, y'all gonna die. So he puts like fire around them. He's got them cornered. Sonic tries to use the Master Emerald, but it like crumbles apart. So it's just now the 7 Chaos Emeralds, the little tiny emeralds. And Tom is like, Sonic, go, run away. And Sonic's like, no, I'm gonna stay here with my family. I love my family. Vin Diesel's probably crying in the theater. Sonic, giving that love for his family. The little Chaos Emeralds were like, oh shoot, I think we like this guy. And then Sonic starts glowing. You start seeing a lot of yellow on the screen. Ah! We got Supersonic in this! Supersonic. Dude, Supersonic in this movie is freaking awesome. Like Dragon Ball level badass. He is flying in the air. He is knocking the crap out of the Death Egg robot. There's one point where Robotnik tries to punch him with the robot. Supersonic doesn't even flinch. That fist comes towards Supersonic and he's just like, nah, that ain't happening. It's so good. He destroys that robot, rips his head off. Robotnik's like, come on, man. Robotnik's on the top of the robot that's very tall. And Sonic just tips it over and it falls over while there's like fire underneath him. So Sonic killed Robotnik, right? I know he's not dead, but it looked like it. I was like, dang, do not mess with Supersonic. And I love that Knuckles tells Tom and Maddie like, no, he's not your Sonic anymore. He's too powerful. You can't even touch him. And Sonic puts his hand in the air, summoning the gods, and then brings out a chili dog. He uses his powers to just summon a new chili dog for himself. I freaking love this movie. So Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles save the day. They celebrate by playing a little bit of baseball, or the base of ball, as Knuckles calls it. Knuckles has some great lines in the final scenes. He doesn't understand how baseball works, which is just so funny. He calls it the base of ball. He talks about conquering the bases. They also talk about going to get some ice cream for dessert, and he's like, will there be grapes? I want grapes. Tom and Maddie are happy that Sonic now has friends that he can relate to, and Sonic even calls Tom Dad. Just like in the first movie, we get a cool animated video game looking sequence for the credits. This time we get a Kid Cudi song in the background. And that's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's the end of the movie. No, wait, it's not. At the credit scene, they're looking for Robotnik. He's nowhere to be found. They don't know where he went. Agent Stone is even dressed up, disguised as a gun agent, trying to find Robotnik as well. And then someone talks to the head guy at Gun and is like, hey, well, we were trying to figure out what was going on. We found some coordinates to a secret base, an experimental base. They've been working on some secret project there for several years. And we cut to that base, and this tube opens up, and you see some fur, and you see something that's hedgehog shaped, but it ain't blue. It's black. Oh, hell, Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog is going to be in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And with that Shadow reveal, as well as the supersonic scenes, oh my gosh, the audience, they lost their mind. It was like Avengers Endgame up in there. There were some hardcore Sonic fans because they were there first day. And they saw that supersonic and they saw that Shadow and they were just like, oh my God! Oh, it's Shadow! Woo! Supersonic! I was just like, oh, shoot! I'm sure someone cried. We getting Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog is legit. It's real. It's happening. He looked good in the movie. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with him. Wonder who's going to voice him. Oh my gosh. Look, this movie has a lot of the things in it that we see in all of these live action CGI creature movies. Has some of the same types of jokes and pop culture references that you would see with some Chipmunks or some Smurfs or some Garfield or some Tom and Jerry. The list goes on and on. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of jokes in here and just for the kids, but it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2, rated PG. I'm sorry, nobody's gonna spend millions of dollars and go, well, let's just make this for 30-year-olds. No, but the movie also does a really good job in incorporating as many video game references and storylines as they could in the world they've already set up. Yes, we are making a family film, but we also know that we have some hardcore Sonic fans out there. We're gonna put more of what you know about this franchise in this movie, but we can't abandon what we did in the first movie. And I think being able to do those two things together, it's not gonna work 100%, but I feel like it works way more than it doesn't work. And I feel like it's a lot of stuff in this movie that they did that catered to fans they didn't have to do, and they chose to do it. And I respect them for it, and that's why I like this movie so much. It's a video game movie that embraces that it is a movie based on a video game, wackiness and all. I know there's jokes in here that I go, oh, I would usually cringe at them, but just for some reason, man, they always add like a little element to make me go, all right, that's fine. You got this dance scene, but you did some cool visuals in it, so that's fine. You got the humans taking over, but they're actually pretty funny, so that's fine. You got a bunch of pop culture references, but some of them are actually pretty funny, so that's fine. And you got a whole plot line that involves the Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald, Knuckles, full scenes that look like they're straight out of the video game. Death Egg Robot, Supersonic, Shadow. That's fine. Yeah, man, I just really enjoyed this movie, man. I just had so much fun with this movie, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Knuckles spinoff. I can't wait to see what happens with Sonic 3. But if there's one thing I have to say negative about this movie, and I'm telling you, you gotta fix this in Sonic 3. Where is my Jaleel White cameo? Why didn't he play the part Shamar Moore played, huh? Can he voice Shadow? I just want Jaleel White in here. Pay the respects to the 90s Sonic cartoon voice. Put him in this movie. Also, I need some Crush 40 songs. I need a Live and Learn, or I need an Escape from the City, or a Sonic Heroes. Add some Crush 40 to that 90s hip hop playlist that Sonic had. What did you think of Sonic 2? Did you enjoy it, or was it too much for you? And remember, whatever you feel is how you feel. Everyone can have different opinions. Just don't be a jerk about it. Because being a jerk about movie opinions, that's no good. Seriously, put Jaleel in the movie. I love you like a play cousin. I'm out of 5,000.